Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy last Monday of January of 2018. Hey, Jay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Periscope. Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to the Morning Life Scope with Trueheart Speaks. That will be me, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and iSpeakLife mentor. Here to help you get out of your own way and get to the business of living so that you can live purposefully, grow spiritually, and lead authentically. Hey, Faye. Good morning, AJ 2015. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Maureen. Good morning, everybody. Hey. So y'all come on in. And while y'all are coming in, I'm going to share, and please do your due diligence and share as well. Say good morning to those who are popping in so that they are feeling loved and welcomed. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, Will. Good morning. How are you? Happy Monday. Hello. We are live and in full effect on the Morning Life Scope for the weekly Monday motivational message. Thank you for sharing. If you're on Periscope, you can swipe right on the iPhone, swipe up on the Android. If you're on Facebook, you can just click the share button. Hey, India, good morning. Hey, everybody, good morning. And for those of you who are joining me on Instagram, if you want to watch this later, this is for 24 hours. But then if you give it until tomorrow, I'll be on YouTube. So these all get posted on YouTube, the weekly motivational messages, so that you can check them out and so that you can share them. Because I know that there's some people who are not on Facebook and some people who are not on Periscope and some people who are not on Instagram. So hey, Nikita. Hey, Tatiana. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, Melina, I see y'all are popping in. And so I'm super excited because the conversation we're talking about today is called, Did You Count the Cost? And it looks like I did a typo. I think it's a typo in here. I know it is on my Facebook page. And so I'll have to go back and change that. But basically what it's supposed to say is, did you count the cost? Did you count the cost? And so these last couple of weeks, we have been talking about, good morning, Clarissa. How are you, love? We've been talking about what will you do for you this month and this year. And so in the iSpeakLife Society, I ask that literally every Monday morning now since the beginning of the year. What will you do for you as successful yet busy and overwhelmed women and some men who have multiple roles and doing multiple things? A lot of times we fail to do is take time for ourselves. We take time to fill our cup. We take time to make sure that we are pouring into ourselves just as much as we are giving out. And so we talked about what will you do for you, right, this month and this year. And then the next week, we talked about pacing yourself. Understanding that your race is your race, right? You're creating your own rhythm, understanding that your path is your path, that God has given you a path that is specifically designed for you. And so when you're looking at other people and you're kind of like comparing and you're kind of feeling like you might be behind, the reality is you're not behind, you're right on schedule. And here's the thing, what I also mentioned is be mindful that, and acknowledge why you're behind if you're behind. It's not necessarily because other people are ahead of you. It might be because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And so if you were supposed to start the business, if you were supposed to be doing morning prayer, if you're supposed to be drinking water, if you're supposed to be exercising, if you're supposed to be saving money and you're not saving money, and not because it's anything that's out of your control, but stuff that you are not able, that you're not doing on your own, then you're behind because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, not because you're in competition or you're not, like, you're connected to somebody else, right? And so, so you have to pace yourself, right? This journey is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And so then, so we talked a little bit about that. I mean, I could talk about that forever and ever. Good morning, AZ. Good morning, everybody. Sharon, Clarissa, Nikita, Melina. I'm just trying to see if it's somebody I missed. Tatiana, India, Faye, Michelle, Maureen. Good morning. Hey, everybody. And so last week, we talked about, can you be trusted? We asked the question, can you be trusted? Can you be trusted with what God has given you? Can you be trusted with the purpose? Can you be trusted? Hey, Susie, good morning. Hey, everybody, good morning. Just giving an overview of these last 4 weeks. Hey, Adri, good morning. Can you be trusted? Can you be trusted with what it is that you're asking for, right? Can God trust you? And so the reason why some of us are not where we want to be is because we can't be trusted, because we're not managing that, what we want, what we're desiring now, or what we have right now. We're not even managing that, right? And so I think it is very important for us to, again, take some time out for us, right? And so part of what will you do for you always includes, like, God has to always be included in this, right? And so never understand, or never misstrue, or whatever you want to call it, misunderstand that everything that I do, there is always a connection to God. Like, you should be seeking him first in every single thing. And so I may not mention it, but it is there. What's up, Kyrie? Good morning, love. And so, you know, so at any rate, so what will you do for you this year? Pace yourself. Have you counted the cost? And so, hey, Toya, good morning. And so today we're going to talk about, did you count the cost? 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 And so I'm going to quickly share. If you are on Periscope, swipe right. On the iPhone, swipe up. On the Android, if you are on Facebook, did I say Android? I did say Android. I thought I said Android or something wrong or whatever. Hey, Dr. T, good morning. And so I'm going to quickly share here on Facebook, and then we're going to get started with this morning's weekly message. And I'm super excited because we are closing out this month already. Like, I can't believe Wednesday is the last day of January of 2018. And this year literally is flying by. And so I think it is so important for us, for me specifically, I'm just going to talk to me and maybe not to you, but because you're here, is not to get caught up in the fact that it's going by so fast, and really to pace myself, because we can sometimes get caught up in, oh my God, like a month is already over. I got to, right? And sometimes pacing yourself understands that you're doing the work, right? You're doing the necessary work each and every day. And at the appointed time, right? Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, and in due time, he will exalt you. In due time, right? You will be exalted. In due time, your harvest will manifest. In due time, things will happen, right? Things will come to play when it's supposed to. So let me share so that we can let everybody know we are live on Facebook, and then we are going to start this morning's teaching. All right, let's see here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Janice, good morning. All right. I'm sure at some point they will allow us to share on Instagram, like they allow us to share on Facebook. But for now, you know, I just try to let folks know where I do a post to let folks know that we are going live, so that they know and they can come and check me out on my live. All right. And where else? I shared to about 4 pages, y'all, so you just be patient with me. While I'm sharing, I wanted to share with you guys. Good morning, Spesh. How are you? Feel Good Yoga and Wellness. I wanted to let you guys know that tickets will go on sale this week. I'm hoping Wednesday or Thursday. I'm thinking probably February 1st. Hey, Chantrice, for the iSpeakLife Empowerment Experience for Women. I'm working, just putting the final touches on my website, and I wanted to go live today. But there's some things I didn't want to. Hey, Sunny Bo D. Hey, love. There were some things that I still wanted to make sure were just right. Not perfect, but I just wanted to kind of make sure things are good before I put it out there. But I will let you guys know that early bird tickets are $57. Early bird tickets are $77, and regular tickets are $97 for the intensive. And so if you want to join me on Friday, March 23rd for the iSpeakLife Society, not iSpeakLife Society, the iSpeakLife Empowerment Experience for Women, Make sure you are on my mailing list. Make sure you're in the iSpeakLife Society, and even maybe on liking my Trueheart Speaks page on Facebook. Those are some of the very first places that I will be sharing that information. And so it will be here in Buffalo, New York, Friday, March 23rd from 6 to 10. And I'm super excited about it. 57, 77, and 97. So early bird, and 97. I mean, and regular. So it'd be 57, 77, and 97. So I wanted to share that with you guys so you know ahead of time. And like I said, you know, get your coins together. And this is not a conference, right? And so this is an intimate intensive, a half-day intensive where I'm going to be teaching. And it'll literally like me teaching live here, but live and in person. And so if you can come, great. If you can't, no worries. There will be another one around September, October. But this is, you know, something that I'm really, really, really excited to be bringing back and just to be sharing. And the theme for this specific one, the spring intensive, is called Unlearn. And so I'm super excited about having this conversation about some things that we're going to need to unlearn in order to get out of our own way, get to the business of living so that we can live purposefully, grow spiritually, and lead authentically. Hey, Joyce, good morning, love. How are you, sis? All right, so I'm done here. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And so I really want you all to join me if you can. And I'm super excited about that. All right, so I think we are good now. Okay, so we're talking a little bit about, and not even a little bit, but a lot about the question, did you count the cost? Did you count the cost? Did you count the cost? So when we're talking about these dreams, we're talking about these aspirations, we're talking about these goals that we have, we're talking about like all of this stuff. And I'll tell you that this conversation stemmed from a conversation that I had with someone a couple of weeks ago. And the second Sunday of January, I spoke at my church. And the conversation was really about like when we get what we want something, but when we get what we want, it's not technically what we wanted, right? You ever want something so bad, and then when you get it, you're like, dang, this is not really what I thought this was going to be. And the person pulled me aside and said, you know what, this message really spoke to me. You know, I was kind of like in tears and just like really just trying to figure out, like, you know, I worked so hard to get to the place that I'm at. And once I got there, I'm not sure that it really was what I wanted. And so I happened to see this person again a couple weeks later, and we started talking just a little bit about certain things. And while we were having that conversation, the one thing that popped out to me in our conversation was the fact that there was going to be a sacrifice in accomplishing the dream that this person wanted to accomplish. And sometimes we think we count the cost, right? We say, okay, well, if I do this, then I know that I might not be able to do this. Or we kind of get caught up in that emotional talk of like, oh, hey, you know, like, you know, I know some people, places and things, I've said it, right, that we're going to have to leave behind and all that. And that's real talk. Like, I shouldn't say emotional talk, but it's real talk. But for us, we're like, you know I got some people I got to drop and some, you know, whatever. But the real of it is that sometimes that there are some sacrifices that come along with the dream. And the question is, did you count the cost? Are you counting the cost? And so as you are looking to, good morning, Ebony, good morning, friend. Happy Monday, ladies. Whatever the dream is, whatever the goal is, whatever it is, whether it's spiritual, whether it is emotional, whether it is physical, whether it is financial. Good morning, Miss Marie Brown. How are you, lovey? Whether it is something, you know, educational, whether it's something like, you know, professional, whether it's in your job, whatever it is, there is a cost. There is a sacrifice. And so when I was talking to this person, I said that, you know, to some extent where you are, because she was, to some extent, she was feeling like she had made the wrong decision. And sometimes it's not that you've made the wrong decision. What ends up happening is that in the process of accomplishing things, there are some things that have to be sacrificed. There are some things that as you up level, there is a cost that goes along with that. And so understanding that to whom much is given, much is required. And so when you are seeking to expand the business, there is a cost to it. When you are seeking, I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and she was telling me that, her and her husband are in the process of saving. And so like, she's doing really good, but like she's not making her regular target, runs and different things like that because they've got some goals. And so when you set those financial goals, there is a cost. What is the cost? And so sometimes, the reason we get caught up, or the reason we get, just get stuck in the thing that we're trying to do, is because we didn't count the cost. And so you understand that you can't make target runs. The cost and the sacrifice is not making target runs, that you can no longer go to Starbucks, that you can no longer go to Spot Coffee or Tim Hortons or whatever your favorite coffee place is, if you're deciding that you want to save money, that if you're deciding that you're now getting ready to buy a house, or you're getting ready, hey, Stephanie, get ready to buy a car, or you're getting ready to maybe to invest in a business, or you're saving up for your kids' education, or whatever the case may be, that there is a sacrifice. And so you have to count the cost. And when you count the cost, let me just say that it eases the emotional burden that comes with counting the cost, because now what happens is you're not no longer feeling bad about it, because there is a result, there is an outcome, there is something that is attached to it. And so I understand that when I'm building the business, that I can't go to everything, that I can't be everywhere, that I can't spend my money the way that I wanted to. I understand that when I'm preparing to get married, there is a cost, that I can't go places that I used to go as a single person, that I can't do the things that I used to do as a single person, that I can still have fun, and I can still go out with my girls, or I can still go out with my guys. But at the end of the day, there is a sacrifice. Have you counted the cost? Are you counting the cost? What is the sacrifice? And I don't mean it in a negative way, but there is a sacrifice. And so for this person, when we had the conversation, the sacrifice was from expanding from one place to another, that the person would be, hey, Farrah, good morning, love. That the person would be in a space where they wouldn't necessarily be around other people, right? And so they would be really building their own space. And so one of the things that I said to them is that you have to go from being the life of somebody else's party to the life of your own party. You have to go, because sometimes we get caught up in the fact that what we're doing includes other people. And when we branch out and do something for ourselves, when we branch out and now we have to do things that may exclude other people, or may exclude other things that we used to do, like have you counted the cost? Have you counted the cost to the dream that you're pursuing? Have you counted the cost to the goal that you're going after? Have you counted the cost? There is a cost. There is a cost. And to some extent, I'm not gonna, sit here and lie to you and, hey Kim, hey Shay, good morning, and say that the cost is not always, is always positive. Sometimes the cost is negative. Sometimes you got to give up some things that you never thought that you would have to give up. And so I made this analogy, and I actually shared this with the person that I remember. There was a conversation that Oprah Winfrey made, a statement that she made, where she was saying that she sacrificed, that she knew that the dream that she was going after, that she would have to sacrifice having children in order to accomplish the goal that she had, that in order for her to be in the space that she was in, that she knew that she probably would never have children again. Now I know that she had a child. I think she miscarried or lost a child. And so, but after that situation, hey Deanna, how are you, love? Hello, Sam, good morning. That there is a sacrifice. And so when you understand going in, sometimes, and this is why I go back to say, what do you need to do for you? Why do you need to pace yourself? What are the, can you be trusted, right? Because at the end of this, it's so true. I had to tell someone that I just cannot attend every event because we're saving for something. People don't understand, but that isn't my problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. The heart stuff, right? And so it's one of those things where, And sometimes we don't know. But I think when we take the time to pace ourselves, when we take the time to look at, you know, the different things, like, for example, like, and, you know, not to technically bring, you know, this person up in this conversation, but when you think, I'll just say the presidency, right? When you look at the presidency, there is a sacrifice that comes with being the president of the United States. There's some things that go along with it. There's some things that you no longer can do. There's some things that you're supposed to no longer be able to say. Like, there's a sacrifice that comes with that, right? When you decide to run for political office, when you decide to get married, when you decide to branch out and start, you know, exercising, and you decide to change your lifestyle, there is a cost and a sacrifice. And I really this week want you to think about the things that you desire to accomplish this year. And I want you to get your journal out, and I want you to ask yourself, okay, what have I counted the cost to this thing? What is the sacrifice that I have to make? What are some things that I might have to give up? What are some things that I may no longer be able to do? What are some things that as I up level, like, and so the example that I also gave to her was years ago. I remember as I was still young then, when I was just starting my girls program called the Young Miss Buffalo Pageant. And I remember I was out somewhere. I might have been out at, like, I don't remember the place, but like back then it was, you know, those of you who are locally remember like Sensations and Jasmine's and all of those places. So I was hanging out with some friends and I was out. And I remember seeing a mom, good morning, Mama Vi. I remember seeing a mom of one of my girls out. And it made me uncomfortable because it's kind of like, you know, going out and running into your boss. Like, if you don't have a good relationship with them, but like you're out and you're like, oh, okay, like this is awkward, like hashtag awkward. And it made me realize that, okay, Detra, you can't go out as often or even at all. Because, and no, God, and nowadays, like, I even, like, if I'm out certain places, because we're 18 years in, I run into like my girls who are now like 25, 26, 27, they're 30, you know, whatever. But back then, you know, in my mind, it was like, what if, you know, I was out here wilding out and, you know, whatever. They're like, oh goodness, this is the young lady who is running the girls program. I'm not sure that I want my daughters hanging around her. And that was the sacrifice that I made at that point, was that I understood that I couldn't be where everybody went because people would be watching me. That as a mentor, as you know, the founder, 33, right, Susie? One of my girls is 33, and so, which is weird to say that, but for me, the reality was there really were some things that I just could no longer do. There were some things that I could no longer, some places I could no longer go. And there was a certain level I wouldn't say act a certain way, because y'all know I'm me wherever I go. But the reality is that, like, I even had to be mindful because I can flip it in like 0.5 seconds. I'm very feisty, and I don't apologize for that. And I try to allow God to use that to his best. But at the end of the day, I understood that there was a sacrifice to that. Like, I can't be everywhere. And so people like when I do come out, they're like, oh goodness, like, we haven't seen you. Well, because it's intentional. I'm intentional with where I go. I'm intentional with where I associate. I'm not everywhere all the time because I can't be. Now, that's a personal choice. And I will tell you, for you, it will be a personal choice. You have to decide where you can go and what you can do. And some people say, well, I don't care, like they can, and that's fine. There is no judgment here whatsoever, right? Week 2 of confirmation, love it, right? There is no judgment here at all. It is a personal choice. I'm telling you my personal choices. But what I'm saying is aside from that, what is the cost? Did you count the cost? Like, some people want to buy a house, but they don't count the cost. Like, oh, I didn't know I had all of this responsibility, and I didn't know I had this, and I had to do this, and I had, you know, an upkeep and, you know, whatever. Like, did you count the cost? And sometimes counting the cost means having conversation with people who are where you already are, who are where you want to be, and saying, talk to me a little bit about the challenges and the struggles of, you know, where you are and how you got there and all that other kind of stuff. And I really want, you know, you all to be in a space where you really, really, really count the cost of where you want to be, because I don't want you to get there and to some extent think you made a mistake, or you get there and you can't sustain it because you don't realize that there is a cost and a sacrifice that goes to maintaining. There is, you know, for me, like lately, I was just having this conversation yesterday, Susie and a couple other people at church, that there's a sacrifice to running a business, a nonprofit, a ministry, being a wife and a mom. And so for the past couple of nights, I've been up to like 1:30 just because there's some things that I literally have to get done. And I need to be able to do it in silence. Like I need my son to be in, you know, I need my son to be asleep. I need, you know, the husband to be asleep or at work or whatever the case may be. But did you, you know, at the end of the day, like for me, the cost right now is sleep. And sometimes, so here's the other thing before I pray, is that the cost sometimes is not permanent. Like it's not a permanent thing. And that was the closer to what the conversation that I had with this person is that it won't always be like this. That this is just the beginning, that this is just part of it. And so as you expand and as you get your flow and as you figure things out, it will change. But ultimately there is a cost. There's a cost. And so for this week's weekly motivational message, my question to you, and I want you to get your journal and I want you to have conversation with yourself, and I want you to think about the things that you want to accomplish. And I want you to ask yourself, what will it cost me to accomplish this? And it could be something as simple, I'm just telling you, as I've decided for the next 90 days to drink water. What's the sacrifice in that? If you love coffee and you love pop, if you love, or soda, whatever you call it, or if you love, you know, juice, like you wake up in the morning, like if you've decided that the only thing that you're going to drink is water, because here, I want to keep it simple. Like some of it isn't building an empire. Some of it is I just need to I need to take my vitamins every day. You know what I mean? Like, or I need to, what are the things that over the next 90 days, like in this first quarter, let's just talk first quarter. Let's not talk for the full year, because some of you will get, you know, overwhelmed by that. First quarter means January, February, March. So by the end of March, what is it that you kind of want to accomplish, or what is it that you want to work on within these 90 days? It's now going to be 60 days. And what is the sacrifice? What's the cost? For some of you, it might be, you know, better developing or spending more time in your marriage or spending more time with your child. What's the cost to that? There is a cost. There is a sacrifice. So maybe that means cutting the television off. Maybe that means less social media. Maybe that means, like, what does that mean? Let's do the work, people. Like, let's get to a place where we get there, but we can keep it. We can hold on to it. We can sustain it, and we can maintain it. Are y'all with me today? Y'all real quiet. Good morning, everybody. Joining the Morning Life Scope with Trueheart Speaks. Me, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and iSpeakLife mentor, helping you to get out of your own way, get to the business of living so that you can live purposefully, grow spiritually, and lead authentically. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Andrea. Good morning. Absolutely love what you have done with your, oh, goodness. Luckily, I don't read all of those because it's juicy. Thank you. So let's pray very quickly, and then I'm going to let you guys go. And please share this. Everybody share this. If you're just coming in, check the replay, watch the replay, and then share it out on Facebook and Periscope, and then Instagram. You know, what you guys can just check it out on Facebook and Periscope, and then tomorrow I'll upload it to YouTube, and then you can share it there. So Issa was just talking about this yesterday. Love it. Hey, Lisa, how are you, love? I'm with you, sis. This is great. Okay. All right. Quarterly goals. Love it. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier to think about it in quarterly goals as opposed to, good morning from Finland, as opposed to yearly goals, because you're just like, I don't know, it's overwhelming, whatever. But I'm sure there's some things. Either way, it will cost you something. The truth of the matter is that if you don't make the sacrifice now, it will cost you more later. Absolutely. 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 And I think the bigger thing is understanding that there is a cost, right? I think we have to be realistic that there is a sacrifice. It's kind of like having your cake and eat it too. And I mean, and I hate using that because if you get cake, you want to eat it. Like, what's the point of getting cake and not being able to eat it? Like, we got to find another analogy or another saying. Like, for me, I feel like when we say you want your cake and eat it too, like, why wouldn't I want cake if you're going to give it to me? Of course, I'm going to eat it. Like, duh. Okay, so I'm like, I just like made myself laugh on that. But the point is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you want to be able to, you know, have this and still be able to have that. And it's not like, it's not possible. It's not possible. There is a sacrifice. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time and this space, Lord. We thank you, God, for this day, this weekly message. We thank you for this week. We thank you that as we close out January, this Wednesday, we are thankful for another month, right? This is the last 3 days of January. And so, Father, we just thank you for just life, right? There have been a couple of people who I've heard of passing away literally over these past couple of days, two specifically on Friday. And one of them was young. He was a young man. And so I'm just asking that you would, you know, be with the families of those who had recently lost loved ones, whether suddenly or this person, it was due to cancer. And so I don't know how long they had been, you know, going through it, but the idea of just, you know, recognizing that one day we're here and one day we're not, like that, you know, that's a reality. And so we're thankful that we have another day to be here. We're thankful that we never have another opportunity to be able to work toward whatever it is that you would see fit for us to work toward. Help us to seek you first, God. Help us to connect with you and co-create this life that you have given us. Help us to seek you regarding our purpose and our life and our mission, the mission that you have created for us, God. And help us, oh God, not to compare ourselves. Help us not get caught up in looking at what other people are doing, oh God, and to pace ourselves and to pour into ourselves and allow ourselves to be, our cups to be filled, so that we can continue to pour out, Lord. And so I'm just thankful, oh God, that for me this week, I will take some time to look at the cost of, you know, for me, I think ultimately, and I think about the decisions and different things that I have, the, you know, things that I've done and where I am now. What is the cost of my yes? And so, Lord, like for me, just really thinking about the cost of my yes, the cost of my saying yes to you. And so I'm asking that all of us would be in a place where we could really evaluate the cost of our yes, because it's one thing to say yes, but it's another thing when we get in the crux of it and recognize that there is a sacrifice to the burden. There is a sacrifice, you know, to what we carry, this mantle that we carry. Each of us carry a mantle, God. And so help us to carry it with you, right? Not to carry it by ourselves, not to carry this thing by ourselves, thinking that we have to do it by ourselves and we have to do it alone, but that you, God, with you, that we can do all things. And so there is, as Farrah said, God, a cost either way. And so help us to be on the front end, the prevention end, as opposed to the intervention end. And, you know, just help us, God, to, like, every single day, like, this is a daily thing, like every single day, what is the cost? What is the sacrifice that I have to make in order to be who you called me to be and do the things that you called me to do and have the things that you called me to have? That is our question to you, God. What is the cost? What is the sacrifice? There is a sacrifice. And so help us to know ahead of time and not to go in blindsided thinking that there is no sacrifice. To whom much is given, much is required. And so for those of us watching, whether it's live on the replay, you have required much of us, right? Much is given, much is required. You have given much and you required much. And so some of us have to step into the much. We have to step into what we've been given and not just kind of act like it doesn't exist, that we have been called to a higher calling, God, that we've been called to a higher level of purpose, a higher level of living. And so we also have to step into it. And so we're grateful for this opportunity to have this weekly message to call us out of just being mediocre and average and behind the scenes and, you know, behind, you know, we all have our own spotlight to step into, and help us, God, to step into it confidently, knowing that this is where you want us to be. And so we honor you this day. We honor you this week. We honor you this month. We honor you forever, right? But we just honor you and we love you and we thank you. And we give you honor, glory, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. And so Sharon says, for me, I can recognize the cost, but when I'm in it, it's challenging. If I can get through the initial discomfort, then I'm good, but it's getting over the hump. I love that. And I think the bigger thing is reminding yourself to recognize the cost when you get in it, and recognize that that this is part of the process, right? That this is part of the process. This is part of, like, you know, when I think about, you know, even marriage, like my husband and I have been married 11 years. And so we've had to have some difficult conversations, and we've had to kind of get through some difficult places. And so when you're in it, you're like, oh, wait, you know, you do the little shake off thing, like, ooh. And while you're in it, it's definitely uncomfortable, but ultimately it's part of the process. And I think the other thing is asking yourself, like, if I don't go through it, right? If I stay in it as opposed to going through it, what is the cost to that? Right? Farrah says, so if you don't, it will cost you something, whether, you know, you make the sacrifice now or later. The question is okay, so I understand that this must be that part of the sacrifice. This is part of counting the cost. Like, this is part of that whatever it is that I'm going through. So what happens if I stay here? I think we just have to get to a place where we coach ourselves through it. What happens if I stay here? Like, this is uncomfortable. I'm not liking this. Like, I'll have conversations like that with God. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not liking this, God. I'm not whatever. But the bigger question is, what happens if you stay there? What happens if you don't do what you're supposed to do? What happens? What happens on the other side of you not doing as opposed to on the other side of doing? What happens? We have to be honest about that question, right? So, so again, this was this week's Monday motivational message. Did you count the cost? Take some time this week and really ask yourself, you know, what is the cost of the things that I desire? What is the cost to saying yes? There is a cost to your yes. So what is the cost? What is the sacrifice to your yes? And then the other thing is don't just, you know, and this in counting the cost, I know the growth will hurt, but it's for my greater good. Absolutely. Absolutely. That growth hurts, right? That expansion, it costs everything. And so understanding your yes, like, what does it cost you? The other thing is taking it a step further based off of the comment that Sharon said, is making this a daily part of your conversation, a daily part of your living, to the point of where you understand that it's not a surprise when it happens. So I know, like, I'm reminding myself, like, every day there is a cost to what I'm doing. Every day there is a sacrifice to what I'm doing. And so when it shows up, it's not a surprise, and it is discomfort. It's uncomfortable, and it causes discomfort, but you know that it's part of the plan, right? It's part of the yes. It's like the children of Israel in the wilderness for 40 years. Do I want to make it to the promised land? That's what I ask myself. Absolutely. Do you want to make it to the promised land? And also, do you want to make it in 11 days or 40 years? Two questions. Do you want to make it? But the other question is do you want to make it in 11 days or 40 years? Because that was an 11-day journey. That wasn't a 40-year journey. And so for some of us, we haven't counted the cost. And to some of us, counting the cost specifically means trusting God when you don't know all of the details. Because their biggest problem is that they didn't know what was happening. They didn't understand what God was doing. And so they spent a lot of time complaining and doing their own thing because they didn't understand what he was doing. And so for you, in counting the cost, sometimes it means trusting God more than what you see. And not even sometimes, that's all the time. But I'm talking specifically in those areas where, you know, we're in a space where it's like, Lord, it really doesn't make sense. Like, I really don't know what you are doing. I really have no clue where I am. I know, like, I don't, you know, and in that point saying, I'm going to stay here because I know that this is where you have me. I'm going to stay. I am not going to go and build me, you know, a golden calf and worship my golden calf and do what I want to do and, you know, whatever. Because y'all know I need to know all of the details. I don't know about you, but I need to know all the details. I need you to lay this thing out for me. I need to know, you know, which way we're going, how we going to get there, all of that kind of stuff. And when it's not going that way, I'm feeling some kind of way about this thing because I feel like God is keeping secrets. And I feel like we got the kind of relationship, Lord, where you don't have to keep secrets from me. You can just tell me. And so for some of us, again, the question is, do you want to get there? But when do you want to get there as well? And counting the cost and understanding that there is a sacrifice will not only help you get there, but it will also help you stay there. Okay, so let's see here. I see it says stop it. I say that to trusting God when you don't know all the details. I stop it. I say that to myself. I said that to myself yesterday, 40 years versus 11 days. See? Yes, Lord. Remember when the angel came and told Mary she was to carry a savior. She knew the end. But no one tells us the middle. It's the trust and obedience that God has taken us through. His ways are not our ways. Absolutely, Farrah. Absolutely. Right? We know most times we know the end. Sometimes we don't, right? And like in the Abraham situation, he told him that he was going to, he just told him to pick up and go to a place that he would show him. He didn't even tell him where he was going. He just said he was going to a place. But she knew the ultimate goal. She knew the ultimate end, but what she was going to have to go through in order to get there. She just said, be it unto me. Absolutely. I'll do it. I'll do it, Lord. And so some of us, we just have to say, Lord, I trust you. Be it unto me to be in a space where, I trust, that because you've chosen me, I'm going to trust that you know what you're doing. Because you've chosen me, right? I'm not sure why you chose me, but because you've chosen me, I'm going to do it. Right? So please share this, right? Please, please, please share this. You all have an awesome day. I'm going to go and get Dallas ready for school and get going. And again, remember March 23rd. It's a Friday. It's from 6 to 10. And I'm hosting my first of 2 intensives this year, the iSpeakLife Empowerment Experience for Women. And the early bird is going to be $57. So put your coins aside. It's 57, 77, and 97. So the early bird will be 57. The early bird will be 77, and the regular investment is 97. And so I'm super, super, super excited about getting ready to pour into you and preparing to pour into you for my event coming up. And so you want to be on my mailing list so that you can get first dibs on tickets. But obviously it'll go out everywhere. And I think that's it. And they'll go out, the tickets will go on sale probably Wednesday or Thursday. I wanted to do it today, but there's still some things that I want to some kinks that I want to make sure are sorted out on the website. So I love y'all. Saul or Paul. Yep, Lord, I'll do it. The Good Samaritan. Absolutely. So I'm going to let you all go because I got to go. And I want y'all to have a good day. And join me in the iSpeakLife Society. We're going to continue this conversation this week. I'll be asking some questions. And really, more importantly, I want you all to do the work and then come back in and share with me. And so if you're on Periscope or Instagram, you can just hit the link in my bio and you'll see iSpeakLife Society and request access to go in. There are 3 questions that you have to answer. Make sure you answer those questions and then you're right in. But again, did you count the cost? Have you counted the cost? Will you count the cost? So y'all have an awesome day. Please put on my page is for information. It is very private. Well, you can share directly from your page, Pamela. You can just share this post to your page to all of your people. So you have a good day as well, Tiffany. So I love y'all. Have an awesome week. I'll see y'all next Monday. And do the work. Take some time to answer these questions. Come back to this video. Watch it again, maybe like on Wednesday, midweek, so that you can kind of get, that jump start again if you haven't already started writing. Love you, Dr. T. And I'll see y'all next Monday. Bye.